Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in the Long Dark, um, where I believe the new visual update patch just dropped. So I had to futz a little bit with the settings to get the game to work right, because it swapped some settings back to default that actually made recording a little bit difficult. But in theory, the recording is working fine, and in theory, the settings are working fine. This is actually good weather, but it's also really close to the end of the night, and I think it's probably a good idea just to let the character get his sleep, and hopefully we get better weather later on. The plan for this stream is we have an ongoing trade with Sutherland that we want to start fulfilling. So we need to make 200 kilograms, or 20 kilograms of raw fish for that one, 40 kilograms of fish for that one. That's like 30 liters of water, 40 liters of water. We need to recover an item. I need to get 20 harvestable plants. It does appear that rose hips count individually as plants, so 20 rose hips shouldn't be that bad. 4 cured guts is not that bad. And if we're getting cured rabbit pelts, that's basically 6 pelts, 6 guts, so that'll be more than enough. And then 20 of any meat. I did take the time to look back at the earlier streams where I went to check up on various locations. And we do, from that, know where we need to go for the item. The answer is Mountain Town. Effectively, we've already been to the one we need to go to. Just we didn't have the trade quest at the time, so we weren't able to pick up the item. Okay, this is not bad weather. Maybe a little chilly, but we can handle a little chilly. So we got the guts. We'll drop the 4 guts off. I'll look. I think the bear has respawned. The bear would be a good place to get the meat, and or to start making more jerky. The crafting. I get the right one, of course. You're the one with guts. There we go. 4 cured guts. Crab pelts will be a little bit harder to get, but even they won't be that hard to get. We're not desperately needed for food. In theory, we got a bunch of cooked fish as well. Let's see if we can get the drop on the bear. If we get the drop on the bear, we will hunt the bear. If not, I may try to set up the travois. Go build the travois and set up the travois to transport the water. I think that'll be a good use of the travois, is transporting fish and water from our fishing spot to the drop location. Okay, I don't see the bear. We could, in theory, see the bear from here if he is in a convenient spot for sniping. A lot of the new toggle visual settings I haven't toggled on just because I don't know if they're actually gonna work on my not great but not terrible recording setup here. And I haven't had time to try out the visual settings ahead of time. In fact, I needed to fix some of the settings just to get it to do what I need to do for recording, which is being able to Alt-Tab out to start and stop the recordings. There's the bear. We hit the bear. Bear has been hit. We're sitting at -8. What do we have for fuel? 26 sticks and 1 piece of coal. Okay. So we got plenty of sticks. We're maybe a little low on coal. Took a moment there to scratch my ears. We want to walk along in the general direction of the bear. We do need to wait until the bear dies. We hit the bear. I saw the blood splatter, so the bear has been hit. But the bear is not just going to croak. Not going to straight croak. And it does look like the bear has stopped. Either that's a different bear, or the bear has stopped panicking. Oops. I still have to walk on. Get down from here. Walked up and over the crest when I didn't want to.
Escape this cold.
Yeah, so it looks like the bear has stopped being panicked. Which isn't necessarily a problem. It just means we need to be a little bit more careful because he will come pounce on us if we get too close to him. And yes, we do need to wait until he dies, so we're not in a complete rush to interact with him. Memory serves from the last time we were down here fishing, we do have a pile of fish from beachcombing. So let's go ahead and harvest, well, cook that fish, and we'll eat that fish and use that as a way to warm up productively while waiting for the bear to die.
So cold.
Is this the pile, or is it farther along? I think it's farther along. Yeah, not that one. So we're looking for, well, I'm looking for a pile of couple fish. That we left pretty much at the end of the beachcomb, so not surprised. It's a fairly long distance out here. It's a torch. That's another torch. There's my fish. So we're gonna cook these. I suppose this is about as good a place as any to do the cooking. And then we'll go try to track the bear down, see if he's dead.
Come on.
Okay, so we want to be enough in the fire to warm up, which is at least 6 sticks. Let's go ahead and just drop down, pull 10 in there, and just start cooking fish. Most of these fish are probably so old they're not worth, well, they're so old because they're beachcombed, right, basic air condition, but they're not going to be stuff we can turn into something. Provide us a little bit of lantern fuel, so this is also useful from the standpoint of we probably do want more lantern fuel at some point.
Something's gotta go.
Something's gotta go? What do you... I'm, like, underweight. I don't know what you're complaining about. Though, some of these fish are maybe a bit heavy. At least we're uncooked. Oops. Blizzard rolled in. Well, in theory, a blizzard's the perfect time to move with our cooked fish. Not worth trying to take the fire with us. And we'll sprint here because we're not too worried about burning fatigue. In fact, if anything, I'd rather burn fatigue rather than condition because where we are. We got plenty of food, so we just want to get back to the island. Should be, in this situation, fairly easy to not miss the island. Should be enough to get about half the quarter charge back in the chart sprint. Okay. Go to distance. Let it come back. Anyway, should just be a straight walk to the island. And we'll try to sleep the blizzard away.
Might have to drop some gear.
If the blizzard doesn't go away, I might take the risk of trying to go back down to the fishing hut. And in the fishing hut, we can fish the blizzard away.
Never felt so cold in my life.
Low visibility like this is always a little bit worrisome. That's the island. To get where we want to go faster, going along crest is going to be the best way to get there. I don't think it's climbable there, so I'm going to go a little bit back this way. So I'm going to have to hope that the bear was in fact dead before the blizzard rolled in. Not because the bear would despawn in the blizzard conditions, but because I'm going to go inside. And the bear in a blizzard that is not dead, when you go inside, I think doesn't stay spawned in, it will despawn. It would drop the arrow wherever he is. So it's not a problem from an arrow perspective, but it is a problem from the didn't necessarily kill the bear situation. But yeah, that was probably enough time. We were spent cooking there for a couple hours. Misanthrope's homestead. We'll step in, get a little bit of warmth, eat our food,
I need to
then
drop something.
leave the fish outside. Let's start with the smallest fish. Actually, I might sleep instead of fish, because I'm not too worried about the fish losing condition again. Take 6 hours of sleep. Which will put us at nighttime, but we'll hopefully put the blizzard. Eat the smallest fish, then eat some of the second smallest fish. And when we go outside, we just leave the fish there. Okay, an aurora is, not ideal. Okay, the bear is dead. How do I want to work the bear? We are warm enough, I think, that I can just start a fire next to the bear, and as long as the weather doesn't change, we'll be fine. Focus on harvesting the bear. Yeah, let's focus on harvesting the bear. Okay, there's the lump of the bear. I can probably reasonably tell it's... Well, crow feathers also helps. Because of the frost on the bear. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit of the new shadows kicking in there. Not sure how much I appreciate those. -5 degrees. Stick a bunch of sticks in here. 3, just for 4 hours-ish. Okay. So as long as the weather doesn't change terribly, this won't be a problem. Am I eating this bear? That's a good question. We need 20 kilograms. Well, either way, it's 20 kilograms for... Yeah, I don't think I'm actually gonna... I'm not gonna cook this bear. We're gonna make water while we're doing it, just not waste the fire. So I've got 41 minutes per harvesting session. Okay. 42, close enough. Weather changed. Fudge. It's definitely not safe for me in an aurora to transport this bear. Yeah, definitely in aurora not safe for me to transport this bear. I'm most interested in getting the hide off of this thing, so we're going to take the hide off and then we're going to go back to our hideout, because it's too windy.
Cold is making my head feel thick.
Make sure I'm not getting into the guts, or the hide, or the fat. Don't want to run into a wolf if possible on the return here. We're taking damage. We should sprint. Okay, drop the bear hide. Let that start to cure. Don't know how many ruined, worn out flares I have, torches I have here. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for them. But one thing we will do is, to pass the time a little bit and warm up, let's disassemble these torches that we have in our inventory. Because we need some sticks. We threw most of our sticks into that fire, and then did not get a fire for as long as we wanted. Was a bit of a disappointment. Because that would have been enough fire, I think, to harvest the bear. Whether it played long. Not enough wear on the knife yet. What's our bedroll looking like? Yeah, that's worth doing a repair too. Okay, from a maintenance standpoint, the crampons could use repairs, boots could use repairs. But I don't think we have any deer here to harvest, or to make boot repairs out of. Oh, one of them hadn't boiled all the way. Okay. The wind has gone down in that period of time. So I'll take a risk with trying to start up another fire to harvest the bear. Again, we want to get the meat off the bear. We're not necessarily in a complete rush to cook the meat. Because I think I want to shove 20 kilograms of it into the salt cure box, and I want to shove the rest of it into the trader. Okay, what's our temperature looking like? -7? Okay, so we can get away with just tossing our sticks into the fire. I'm getting started with that. Once again, we should make water while we're here. When in doubt, make water. Okay, the temperature dropped, but the wind didn't change, which is acceptable. Just means we're going to have to respond by putting a piece of coal in the fire. Again, as long as the wind does not pick up, we should have adequate fuel, adequate warmth here to finish harvesting this bear. A normal migration on the wildlife should keep them from migrating over to where we are while we're cooking. Okay, let's drop some water. Don't need quite this much water on me at all times. Okay, 50 minutes, take the rest of the meat off. I'm going to be a little bit inefficient here, just focus on harvesting and not making water at the same time. Okay. And then the guts. Actually, somewhat surprised the Aurora has lasted this long, but it did. Okay. Same similar sort of safety rules. We're not taking the guts with us in the middle of the Aurora, because that's just going to attract trouble. Which honestly means I could sit here on the fire and milk it for its fuel value, making water. Or I could take a bunch of torches. Or mix of the both, to be fair. How warm are we? We're 18 degrees. Okay. I'm gonna go for the mix of the both. Basically afford to take every last torch out of here and still have the fire be full temp. So I'm gonna take most of the torches out. Oh, I say full temp. Appropriate temp. Take most of the torches out. We'll leave basically the last one in there. And I'm going to disassemble the bad ones. So I'm basically going to disassemble everything under 40, so it's 5 disassemblies. Basically didn't get a good roll. Or, I think I got one good roll, because I think the lowest was actually 39 from before. But if I was a little bit more of a gambling mood right now, I'd probably try to go over to the garage. Not because I want to talk to Solent, which would be the reason to go to the garage, but because I think building the travois would be a good use of transport time. So carrying capacity 6. Okay, so I can take all the water with us. And leave a pile of water up on the island. Again, safety reasons, we're going to leave the meat and the guts there. We'll come back with the travois. And move with the travois. I think we can pack the whole stuff, the whole batch up into the travois and just deliver it that way. Yeah, I'm gonna make travois first, so we'll see if it's high enough quality to do what I needed to do. Once we get the travois made, I think I got everything I need for the travois. And if I don't, I don't, and then in which case I'll have to just manually transport it, which would be doable as well. Yeah. This is clear. Could probably make the transit over to the garage safely, but we're not going to because we can't scare wolves off in this weather. And that is a safety hazard that I don't want to deal with right now. Going through our otherwise fairly ruined fish. Turn them into food. Get our guy nice and fed. But yeah, we can basically sleep through the early morning at this point productively, I think. And then we can go over to the garage. Oh, I was going to leave the water up front. Next to our fish. Again, maybe not as optimal of a healing. Would maybe be a little more optimal just wait until we're more fatigued, but doing it this way gives us full carrying capacity for longer. And is just an effective way to pass the time for the Aurora to go away. So the Aurora's gone. The hazards associated with the Aurora are gone. Placed arguably with different hazards, but this is I'm just a little bit more mentally prepared to deal with, honestly. Foggy, cold morning. Yeah, foggy, cold, early morning. Oh, I should, for safety reasons, let's take the detour over to the fishing spot. I know the fishing spot has coal, so we'll pick up a couple pieces of coal for emergencies. Finding a little bit of wind shelter and slapping a fire down with a couple pieces of coal in it solves lots of problems, even if it's only a temporary solution to the problems. a fish. And a human. Okay, so let's drop the fish off. We came here for coal. 2 pieces of coal is probably good enough for now. We'll check out the human, and then we'll go to the garage. Yep, never mind, we're not checking out the human. The human's too far out. The crow feathers actually probably gave it away. Usually the crow feathers will be centered around the thing, but they will not spawn on deep ice. Is my understanding. So the fact that all the crow feathers were so far away from it is maybe an indication deep ice might be a little bit closer than you want. I think that's a deer, not a moose. It's not the direction we want to go anyway. So I think that's a wolf. And it is one wolf. The thing I'd be mostly worried about running into is timber wolves. Okay. Taking a detour to go around the wolf, so we're probably gonna take a little bit of cold damage, I think, coming in here to the garage. Because of the detour, but it's probably gonna be more on my wolf, I think, from a condition standpoint. Yes, the garage is about that way, so as the crow flies from our fishing spot, it would have been right through the middle of the wolf, which would have got us nommed on or required me lighting a torch. This route doesn't have that problem. Yeah, looking at the time, I think we're gonna step into the garage. We're gonna check to see if we have the stuff for the travois. I think I have the stuff for the travois. If we do, we'll craft the travois. We'll probably put the episode break in there. And then we'll transport the travois over to our meat pile to pick up and move the meat pile. Because I think that'll be a quick way of moving the meat pile. Because of how heavy the summative mass of the meat pile is. Plus, as long as the condition on the meat is high enough, you get to move the whole meat pile. And I think the travois doesn't smell. So it should attract less wolves that way as well. Whereas 30 kilograms of uncooked meat plus 10 guts, oh, that's gonna smell. I'm taking cover to avoid getting detected by the wolf, and the wolf is a deer. The wolf is a deer. It is not going to try to eat us. It's just a deer. Okay, stepped in here. One thing I will do to save us a little bit of weight is we have our canned ham, our trophy canned ham here. It's going up on the shelf. Got a pair of cattails. Got some salt. What we want is to make the travois, which is a tool. Travois. 1 cured deer hide, 2 cured guts, 4 maple saplings. So the 4 maple saplings is the hard bit, I think. We have 3 maple saplings. Yes, that's a problem. Unless I've got another maple sapling around here that I left curing. That's a possibility. I think that's a no, but that's a possibility. Bunch of torches. Okay, so we might not be able to make it to Roy. Which means we'll have to do it the slow and hard way. I think we got enough salt in here. Even if we don't have enough salt, we have more salt sitting right next to the thing, so. Yeah, so it looks like I have 3 maple saplings, unless we've got some elsewhere. I could go back to the island to check if we have some on the island. And I suppose we're going to have to go back to the island anyway. Pick the stuff up, even if we don't have the stuff to do the travois. So that's where we're going to go next. It's just whether or not I come back with a maple sapling or come back with 20 kilograms of meat. I suppose from an inventory triage, we can do a little bit of inventory triaging here. While we're here in the coastal area, I don't need my long-distance survival stuff, so I don't need cooking oil or the flour. Probably don't need that many torches, but that's fine. You know, it's expecting me to be able to drop more stuff, and I'm looking through my stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe not as much as I was thinking. We got 6 beaches of birch bark. We'll pass a little bit of time, just get that birch bark made. Lower our weight a little bit. Pretty negligible, but a little bit. We'll give it some time to warm up. Okay, then we're going to quickly step in, step out to get a save point here. This is where we're going to go ahead and put our part break in. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you have been enjoying. We are going to record more parts tonight, so there should be a part up for you tomorrow. I think I might do a quick restart of OBS in the game, because OBS is, well, it hasn't said we've lost much to rendering lag. We've lost 31% of the frames since I started OBS up, but we're getting some lag in the audio mixer or something. Just a quick restart, I think, Peter, might help. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, there should be another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to do a quick restart of the computer, so I'll be back in a minute or two. I suspect that means the stream will come down and we'll have to put a new stream back up, but it's basically going to be the same stream. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or the next stream. If you're watching on YouTube, the next part should be up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, then the next stream will be up as soon as I get the computer restarted. So with that, bye for now.